All of them are. So you can
set
choose
it
the
to
time.
pretty much whatever time frame you want.
Exactly. I mainly use from the 9:30 to 10, and then 9:30 to 10:30 for the opening candle continuation. Yeah.
Like James likes to use the extended sessions for all the reports. I like to just use New York.
Correct.
But this is all everything on Edgeful. You guys can go in every single report. You can customize the time frame that it's looking at. Every single
exactly.
One. So candle time frame, orb time frame, opening candle continuation, which I should have. I guess I don't have bookmarked.
What do you think of these longs, Zinc?
Looking like it already ran without us.
But we are coming back up to the New York session open VWAP at the moment, which I'm watching on NQ. Just looking at it, I'm scared of pushing a buy button, bro. It's been nothing but sells today.
Or just getting in the
market. What do you think about the GOAT funded premium? Captain, I haven't seen those accounts personally, bro.
Sorry, I missed that question earlier. There's always going to be a benefit for the company that you're probably not seeing at first glance on those accounts. Premium instant account with no consistency rules, there's probably a payout cap that drastically reduces what your profit on the account could be.
Sure.
Or like what E8 just launched. E8 launched an account that has no consistency, no drawdown, no rules on the account at all. So you can just trade it however you want to trade it. $500 for a 10K account.
Wow. Jeez.
Sorry, actually $500 for an account that has $2,500 in drawdown.
Oh, dude, I'd rather just put $2,500 in.
Exactly. So that's every plan that every single firm has. There's going to be some kind of reward for them that you may not see off the initial advertisement for that plan. E8's a great example of it. I don't know, James. The trend is obviously very bearish for today.
Yeah.
Minus that first 15-minute opening candle, but I think what I've been struggling with is the lack of news.
Sure.
Because we don't have the only thing that the market is hinging on right now is if Trump's going to tweet something at 10:30. But this has been the type of movement we've had all week because there hasn't been any news. We're making a couple 100-point ranges in 5-15 minutes, and then it has to pick its direction for the rest of the day. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure right now personally.
Based on the data, we already hit our only draw to the upside, which was that 830 retracement. Now we're actually favored to go back down to a new low at 693.22. But again, I have no indication of continuing up or just chopping from where we are right now.
Yep. I first thought that we could potentially get those longs, but no, we're coming right back down. So I don't think it's. Remember, also cash is a position too. I think you do this quite well as well. Like if you're not seeing your edge, yeah. Take a look at ear shorts, Bruce. It was kind of your setup. Yeah, you're saying off that daily view app. I would agree.
Yes, your opinion on 73% stat to go to the low.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the DAX either. Someone that's asking that. I mean, obviously shorts are in right now. Does the DAX continue? Potentially. I mean, ES is looking like we just wanted to come and take these lows right now.
I'm feeling a Trump tweet today.
Nah.
I feel like Trump's going to say something.
And prop the market up.
I don't know if he'll prop the market up. I guess the only thing that he does like doing is saving the market over the weekend, especially. So maybe we won't get anything from him today, and just over the weekend, we get some kind of news regarding the war in Iran's done, so the market gaps up 4%.
Sure.
150-point candle down right now in Qs, by the way. I'm going to give a little, let's see if we have this in, hold on, media assets. Yes, we do. Little applause for the data today for that 830 retracement.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andrew Trades NQ for that. He's the first one that I saw post that. Oh, I need to make sure that I go and bookmark it. So it's the, I'm going to find it with everyone right now. It is the ICT opening retracement. Time frame is set to 9:30, from 9:30 to 11. It's saying that, and this is with a crazy amount of data points on both sides, by the way, 68 and 59. So pretty much every trading session that we have, this has had some kind of read up to the 8:30 open or down. The only exclusions here are the holiday trading sessions.
Yeah.
59, where we opened above the 8:30 range, and 47 times we retraced. Today was one of those instances where we opened below. 68 times we've opened below the 8:30 open. So that was this 5-minute open at 8:30, or 5-minute candle at 8:30. 54 of those 68 times we retraced up to that level, which is what we hit today.
Sure.
So something for us to look at moving forward is how often does it actually continue in that direction, or how often does it reject off that, like a significant
and then come down.
Yes, exactly. So it's having a pretty nasty rejection at it right now. I don't know if it's gonna pivot back up. This is whiplash pretty bad at the moment.
Yeah, I would think we continue lower personally. I'm not, I don't know about the bounce right now. At least where we at right now.
Oh, bookmark it. That's what I was gonna do. Yeah, this is a really cool report. 127 data points. So 80% across the board. It's actually a little tiny bit better for ES. 82 and 80. 57 and 70. 127 data points there. A little bit of a retracement.
NQ's weak underneath this New York session view up. Zinc. That's what I'm just
projected pretty bad.
Yeah, I projected it pretty aggressively right now.
Big rejection off the midpoint of that orb.
Yeah. I'm gonna try a small short here on NQ.
Nice.
7:30.
New low day.
Yeah, new low of day. Exactly.
693.22. I like it.
I'm gonna set in at 7:30.
Inside bars by weekday is freaking dope as well. No, some really good numbers on here. I've had it about a week and I can't stop just looking at finding more stuff. Yeah, we inside bars by weekday. That's probably one of my favorite reports to look at, because Wednesdays especially, we have a very high stat to go and fill the inside bar, previous day's high or low. Funny enough, yesterday we did not hit either previous day's high or previous day's low. So even the very high reports, very significant reports we look at. The 20-year yield is up 1% today. The 10-year yield is also up 1.5%. And crude oil is up almost 7% right now. That does not correlate to a strong market. So shorts across the board, I would imagine.
Yeah, so my entry price on NQ 7:30. We'll see what we do get. I got my stop loss at opening range high, so pretty wide stop on it. I just want to see if I can get like a new shove down to low of day,
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Crude oil is up. I know I keep referring to crude. It's up 48% in the past 20 trading days. Just under 3 weeks worth of trading, and we're up 48%. 1 out of the last 32 Wednesdays we didn't break out. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yesterday, the fact that we opened That's why I was in such disbelief into yesterday's open as well. We only opened 70 cents over previous day's low, and then on the upside, we also only missed previous day's high by 40 cents. So there was more than enough reason for us to go up to previous day's high and or hit previous day's low right into the open. And we unfortunately did not. So tricky read. Our low is what, 655? I'm a fan, James.
Yeah, I'm just seeing if I can play the move back down. Really, I like it. So you know, I maybe could have shorted a little bit at a higher price, but try to get off that New York session open VWAP now. Let's see. Would like this next 5-minute bar to be down potentially.
1 hour ago, we got that was our last truth from Trump. The civil nuclear deal. There will be no enrichment of material being made between the U.S. Department of Energy and Saudi Arabia, which pertains only to non-military use, such as the ones that Iran and the UAE and others already have. Gosh, his stuff is so hard to read sometimes. His posts are so difficult to read. This will be approved, but is totally subject to Saudi Arabia joining the very respectful and successful Abraham Accords. So that was an hour ago. He posted that. Nothing since though. And crude just pivoted almost all the way back up to high today. James has been cooking.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on this, because we are still inside the opening range as well. So, you know, we got to also
take that into 15-minute orb for today.
Yeah, it is a big orb. Agreed.
We're back at the midpoint of the orb right now. Let's hope the Orange Clown does not post crap again today. He probably will. I mean, that's what he does every day, right? He's a big fan of saying what he likes to say during market hours.
Yeah, sure. That's stock standard now to get used to. We should know that by now.
So there's really no true no news week anymore.
Nope.
If you go on to X and you either look at Walter Bloomberg, or if you look at, just search up Trump for a keyword, he has something. Essentially every hour there's something that he states, even during the middle of the night, which I don't know when this guy sleeps. If he sleeps.
The man doesn't.
I don't think he does. Tesla dropping $40 is why we're a little bit weaker. It's still going to. It's at 12.3% debt right on the day.
What's gold doing, by the way?
Gold's actually going down too. More than 50,000 U.S. service members are now operating across the Middle East as President Trump gives a dire warning to Iran. War news across the board. And then he still makes time to accept the FIFA awards for hosting it. It's crazy.
Yeah, to hand out the presentation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me and CFD accounts. Question for you in chat there, James. What do you think about futures versus CFDs?
I mean, I'm in South Africa, so I'm very limited on futures. I enjoy the CFD, so I think my best answer to that is always going to be go with what you do best. You know, I think Go with the company that you back, that you like their rules, and that has proof of paying people out. Like FTMO, which you guys would have seen across this whole year on my feed, right? That's a nice bar for me, Zinc.
Yes, it is.
On NQ, wick to the New York session open VWAP, and now we're looking like we're coming lower. So
656 would be my target on this.
Yeah, I'm up 30 points right now. I'm just looking for, yes, exactly, opening range low. That's what I'm looking for, I think.
Right to it. We have a 73% stat. We go to that low.
Okay, well, I'm going to try and hold. I'm up 50 points right now.
You got it. Crude new high day too. I'm telling you, if you guys go and look at crude, on the 1 minute especially, this preludes the moves that we make on NQ and ES. This is the somewhat perfect hedge on MNQ or MES. Not sure what we would have just bounced. Maybe the open is what we're bouncing off right now.
Zinc, if we don't, I'm still up 20 points. If we don't get 15 now and rotating, there we go. Now I'm back at break even. I'm not in big on this, but I don't want to, take full stop loss on it. But I'll see if I can try and get that low.
Yep. I think it was just the open that we bounced off, maybe.
Yeah, so James, what do you think about, sorry, I was just busy watching my trade, apologies. James, what do you think about futures versus CFDs? I'm really done with futures because of trading drawdowns. When you hear you take on CFDs, are much more flexible and gives a lot more room. I do agree with that. CFDs give you a lot more drawdown space. If you like that, which I do, static drawdown, go with the CFDs. I don't like the trailing drawdown on the future side of things. I've just been so used to the static drawdown. So 100% agree with you. I would, if you're done with the static drawdown, go trailing drawdown, hit the CFD's static drawdown, the two-step. Yep.
Not really a question here, but VIX rising. The VIX, a lot of people I know successfully use it as a hedge measure. The VIX is the volatility index and nothing else. That's it. So if you're looking at the VIX, I honestly think a better measure to look at is either the dollar or crude for hedges. The VIX just says what the market's doing for volatility. That's it. So the higher the VIX is, the more volatile we are, which the larger implied moves you can expect. The lower the VIX is, the less volatile the market is, which is when we have a move like we were having at the beginning of this week, which is kind of sideways for most of the market session. I like the dollar for a countermeasure against the market. The VIX isn't bad, but it doesn't. You can have the VIX going up and the market can be up 18% on the day. Sure. Like we had the move that we had in April and October of last year when the market was moving sky high, especially the one that we had in April. So if we go to that 13% day, it was April 8th of last year. The VIX was still up 32%. Yeah.
I remember that. We moved 9% in 15 minutes.
Yeah, we had a 13% day on Qs and the VIX was up 32% on the day. That was April 8th of last year. So this, if you were looking at the VIX for seeing if the market was going to go down, this kind of would have screwed you over a little bit, expecting the market to go back down. It does typically, if the market is in a bullish state, moving how it was designed to, then it's okay. Crude oil, I'm going to continue to state this. Crude oil on the 1 minute marginally preludes what the market's doing. So if the market's going up like it is right now, you can see that last 1 minute bar we had on crude, or even the past 5 1 minute bars we had on crude, down 0.2%, and then another one down 0.2, which doesn't seem like much for a percent basis, but crude moving 20 points like that's pretty uncommon.
Yeah, we're still underneath this New York session open VWAP thing, so I'm still going to try and give it a chance. I just want to flush up that opening range low.
Yeah, I really like the shorts with you. I'm a big fan. Right now, the IB is currently set bullish, but I'm not a big believer of it. The closing zone has been the biggest impact to the IB in the model. I know James was giving me crap yesterday for changing it. Refining would be a better word, James.
Sorry, refining.
But the closing zone, it's like yesterday, the reason I didn't take the longs on ES was because, and it did end up working, unfortunately, but we had a 12% stat to go and take the high based on the closing zone. And we did end up taking the high yesterday. And we took it by 1 point, actually. A single point above previous day's high. And then it came crashing all the way back down and took previous day's low in the extended session, which is right up your alley.
Yep.
Liking this pullback on crude now, though.
NQ is moving lower, so I like that. Come on, NQ, just give me 650.
Right 656.
Yeah.
Perfect rejection at the midpoint, too. Midpoint of the orb lines up with the midpoint of the IB because they're both the same. Still haven't broken the 15-minute orb, so that's another stat that you could use in your benefit.
And also the first 30 minutes was bearish as well, Zinc. Well, the first hour's print, if we close where we are right now, it's printing as bearish.
It's got 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
28.7 maybe? Is that what we keep bouncing off?
Yeah.
No problem.
That's
my only argument to people that watch VIX. Not saying it's a bad thing. The VIX does work, but if you are going to watch it, it's volatility, not a countermeasure to what the market's doing. A lot of misconception around that. Here it comes, James.
Yeah, hopefully.
Everyone in the stream collectively blowing your screen, and it should go and hit TP.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know, this is the position that James has right now.
Yeah, you got my screen up, yeah? Yeah, you can. There you go.
Oh, you're looking for much lower.
Yeah.
So what's
no, sorry. Let me just put that there like that.
Oh, there you go. What's the CFD risk on that trade?
I've just got $1,000 of risk across 2 accounts.
Gotcha.
At about 120 point stop on it.
Crude is a little spooky at the moment. It's falling off a cliff. Finally. I want to see this go down so very badly because I don't want to keep spending $120 to fill up my truck. It's absolutely terrible. It's the worst thing ever.
I'm not liking this, like so choppy at the lows here, bro. But let's see.
Trump's going on his bathroom break here pretty soon.
What's ES doing? Yeah, ES also just super choppy.
The US 10-year note is 0.2% off of its highest recorded price. It's at 4.7%.
Any reports on ES 50-minute orb today?
I got you.
Yeah. Let me just manage this position.
Focused.
Yeah, I'm trying to lock in there. I'm trying to, as soon as it ticks into 650, I wanted to make sure my TP gets filled.
So for the ES 15-minute orb, we have not had a no break, if that helps. 55% chance for a double break, which I don't imagine we're going to pivot all the way back up. We should go and break the low because it's also lined up with that 5-minute double break stat. So we have plenty of data pointing towards the low. It's just the no news really hurts the market more than it rewards it. I know a lot of people like having no news because they think they feel like the market moves in a standard direction without all the manipulation and nastiness of volatility. The news actually helps the market more. The build up to the news, rather, helps the market a lot more than it deters it.
Yeah, NQ
big
just
money doesn't really like no news.
Sure.
Could I check MGC? Yes. For data or just in general? MGC right now, short bias. Basically at the new lows. Keep in mind, if you are trading gold's pit open is 820 to 920. That's your IB. That's your true IB for gold. So you have 10 minutes to get in and out of your gold trade before New York open. That's why gold doesn't really work too well on the New York IB. The stats throughout the week are pretty close to 50-50 on all days. It's because of the pit open. This is short bias, but it's not a very big range right now. You have another 5 points to the downside from 25%.
Oh, dude, this is so choppy. Zinc, if we don't get there in the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I will cut that.
If we close here in the next 10 minutes, you actually have another data set
Yeah.
that is favoring
Okay,
you.
so I'll just leave it. Okay, got you, Zinc.
808 lot of buyers at 28,650. Yeah, it's the opening. 656 is where we should hit. So buyers there makes perfect sense.
Sure.
Thanks, James. I think no problem.
We can put, so again, just this is the position that I'm in right now. You're just super choppy on the 1 minute. So I'm literally just looking for a move into like 6. I'll even take 665, Zinc.
I am in this move with you, just on crude.
Okay.
So
even if I'm looking, I'm just looking across the other indexes now as well. Like YM seems very bearish, like pretty weak. I'm glad I'm in the short. I mean, that's the position that you want to be in, right?
You're going to be disgusted to see this once I pull it up.
No. Let's have a look.
You ready?
Yeah. There we go. You wicked it.
I'm up 1,800 on it right now. Very tempted to secure it.
You couldn't, bro. I'd secure that personally. That's like to the wick. That's filthy.
I'll move the stop loss up to 800 profit.
Okay, Zinc. If we cut the New York session view up, I will cut this. I'm gonna cut it if we do cut through that.
Why the big swinging position? You guys ready to see this? So this account, I want to emphasize the reason that I've been sizing up so much on it recently. I put 2,000 in this account on 0710. I took 10K out on Monday this week. I have the account back up to 25,000 right now. It's at 27 in equity if I secure this position at the moment. So this has gone from 2,000 to 37, 35 realized in the past 2 weeks, which is why I haven't really been trading funded futures accounts as much, because I fear if I go back over to futures while trying to focus on this, I may falter.
Sure.
I'm actually just going to secure it. I want it to go all the way back up to the high, but 1,600 is not bad. I'm up 7,750 on the day right now. Why am I? This is on crude. That's why I'm long. Crude has a bullish bias on the IB right now. We have a 70% stat that we go short and take the 5-minute double break on QQQ while also closing below the midpoint. The orb still isn't broken yet, which is one of the parameters.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that's scaring me, Zinc, because I'm like, normally, you know, for me, like, yes, I took the break and retest of the orb high, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm back at break even. I'm back in profit now. Wow, how's that bar down? There you go. Zinc, is this the bar? Aha, here we go. Come on.
I like that little cheer. It's going to hit right at freaking 10:30, and I'm not going to have a trade for the IB.
Come on, man. Just shove down. Jeez, this level, bro. Oh, my goodness. Even if I lose this, I'll still be up nicely on the day, even if I take full stop on it, because I had those, remember I sent it to you there, Zinc. I have had these pre-market.
I'm sorry, I'm a little sick right now.
There you go.
Why'd I secure? Damn it.
Yeah.
Proof there on how crazy trading makes you.
Yeah. I'm cheering for my trade. Imagine, come on. I think if we don't take this bar like 10 minutes after the RB, I'll close. I think this is wild, dude. We haven't broken the opening range, bro.
The orb. I haven't broken the 15-minute orb. We broke the 5-minute at least.
Yeah, to the high side, I'm assuming.
TP for this was up to the current high 91.97, and what I get out at 91.39. Son of a bitch. Oh dear. If it goes up to 91.69, I'm gonna be a little upset. And just hit it. I got stage fright.
Zinc, if we don't go on this next push low, I'm going to cut that. I'm up 32 points, so I'm not going to take a loss on this.
Learn from my mistake, James. Don't paper hand it like I did.
No, but I
have your son come in and cheer on the market with you. Cheering for the trade beats cheering for the 50-minute coffee break in the labor section. Huh? Oh, this was a beautiful trade. I wish I could go and...
Zinc, I think I'm also playing a little bit defensive here because I remember I'm up $2,000 pre-market as well.
Yeah.
I don't like this. Okay, let me take this at 20 points, 18 points. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna reposition. Okay, I'm full out.
You know, anytime you send me your P&L pre-market, I actually have a really good day.
Then maybe I should send it more.
Continuously.
Okay, full out. I'm full out for like 19 points. I don't want this to come back on me and take a loss, and then I'm like, oh, what the hell? I'd rather just take the $150 that I was up or whatever. I can't deal with this chop for the last 30 minutes, you know. Also, I was having a look at my statistics, Zinc, and I know you love stats. Every single time I'm in a trade that's from a day trading perspective, not swing trading,
longer
but my
than
day
15 minutes, you lose.
No, if I hold for longer than 30 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, not that I lose. It's like I'm red on that P&L. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Anytime I have a trade that's open for more than probably like 25 minutes, 30
I'm
minutes.
done. Even if this comes lower now, if that had come up and had tagged me out, I'd be like, oh, well, of course, I sat in for 30 minutes and I didn't do anything with it. But yeah, we do have the opening candle continuation being going to print as red, Zinc. So maybe we get a pullback and then I can look for a second short.
I just screwed myself out of
what's that?
Another 3K. Is it safe to assume that if I started a personal account with 1,500 to 2,000, it would be the same buying power as a 25K to 50K prop firm? Prop firms are a shortcut. So prop firms are where you build what your risk reward, your actual trading strategy is, because the risk to trading a prop firm is only what you're paying in. So if you have a 25K prop account, you're paying in $60 for most firms. You're not risking a $2,000 personal account and then blowing that account and then funding it with $2,000. The best part about the Webull personal futures is I can't really, even if I wanted to. So my max, I'll explain it right now. There's our IB form, by the way. It is a long bias at the moment, but because we closed underneath the midpoint, it's favored for us to go to the downside. So the overall trade would be something like this. Oops, not a long position, sorry. I'll cover this real quick before I continue on that point. This should be the trade for today, even though it's a long bias because the low form first, high form second. Because we close under the midpoint, we're favored to go to the downside. I'll bring up the IB by rejection on QQQ. We're going to look at all days and days that close underneath the midpoint. So for the high form first, 71% of the time we still break the high. For the low form first, 60% of the time we break the high. That is with 5 data points though. So if we go to a year, that shifts slowly over to the low breaking first, and that's still only with 9 data points. You can see how rare the occurrence is. And then for 2 years, 59%, 22. So the best play right now would probably be to take it on SPY, because SPY has a little bit more data. 63% of the time it's going to go and take the low when it closes under the midpoint. Best position for this might just be to be cash, though, especially because of what James just said. This has been red-green. Oh, that was a bad voice crack. This has been red-green for a significant amount of time. Just flip up, flip back down, flip up, flip back down.
Jeez.
So the personal account on Webull, I honestly like a lot more than prop firms, because my max position sizing, I almost just pulled the trigger on re-entering that. I'm a little disappointed I didn't hold that for TP. Max position sizing, so I can get in right now if I wanted to on, let's say, MNQ. I could get 126 micros. If I full forward the account, I could get 126 micros. If that position goes into, let's say, probably 3,000 in drawdown with 12 minis, that's like 10 points, if that, 5 points even. That position gets closed because I don't have enough margin to hold the position open. So I have a position that has 12 minis. I have whatever, 26,000 in the account. The account will go down to 23,000. So even if I do full port, it gets closed prior. It's not like a margin account that you are responsible for closing the position. It's a margin account that automatically closes it when your margin ratio gets below a certain number. So I believe it's 12% for Webull, 8 to 12% in that window for intraday margin anyway. There's our TP coming in, by the way, James.
Yeah. No, I'm glad I took mine, Zinc. I could not continue holding that for so long, bro. So I'll take that then and reconfigure from here.
Usman, it was all compounding. How in the world did you make 35K out of a 2K account? So I started with, I was trading 5 micros when I loaded the account. My overall performance on it It's a little glitchy, so it's it's hard to say. This is what it currently says. This is the downside to Weeble. I'll show it on the screen. This is clearly not the case, but this is what it says my current performance is. Weeble's a little bit glitchy, especially the overnight session. So if you have one MNQ that you have overnight, which I did last night.
There's 650 Zinc, by the way.
It finally hit.
You gotta love it. But I'm happy with my management on that Zinc.
So if I go to my current day's P&L, for whatever reason, it says that I'm down 49,000. I promise I am not down 49,000. Hold on, I'll remove my screen. I promise that is not the case, but that's the glitch that they have on the platform when you close a position overnight. If I go into, just so you guys know, I'm not BSing. That's the same Weeble desktop. So it's the same thing that you see on the screen. So my performance for it doesn't hold very well, but the first day that I traded, I made $2,980 on Friday the 10th. And that was because I went long. This is all going to come to a point, I promise. I'm not gloating the P&L. So there's no consistency on the personal account. There's no reason to not hold a trade for a DLL. I can't see what my overall performance for the day was. But for the position on Friday, I had longs after the news came out, took the IB high, and then I just compounded those gains into the following day. So for the next day, 3,360, the day after that, 1,500, the day after that, 5,190, the day after that, 4,750, the day after that, 2,270, and then I had a losing day on Monday or Wednesday this week. Whenever I posted that screenshot, the streak was over. I took 10K out on Monday this week, and so Tuesday was my losing day. But the point I'm making is there's a lot more leeway on those accounts. Oh, TP hit on. Sorry, I didn't know my screen wasn't up.
On
TP
oil,
hit
not.
on crude, and TP hit on QQQ as well. So I know the IB was bullish. The IB bias was bullish because we had the low form first, high form second, but because of the closing zone, that's the most important stat that we've added in. The closing zone underneath the customized report. On the IB by rejection, you can look at the 50 to 75% closing zone. It favors us to go to the low even when the lows form first. I was not trading 24-hourly IBs, no. It's just the compounding on a personal account is insane. So I started with 5 micros. As you guys just saw, the position I had open on MCL was 4 minis. And it's all relative to what my buying power is on the account. And my stop loss is at break even. I should have held it up. It had 0 drawdown on it after I got out. Looked way too flat. Yes, it was way too flat, but it still favored what the data was telling us, which is good.
Yeah, Zinc. I'm actually still happy that I closed that, even though.
Yeah, you followed the data.
Yeah, I'm also, if that had turned on me, which it looks like it's actually doing right now, and I'd taken a loss when I was up 40, 50 points, it's just silly. Let's see, yeah. Well, we're bouncing aggressively right now, Zinc.
Lower. Sorry, I'm typing something out right now. So how many stop losses in a row did you give yourself to blow an account? I can't blow the account because of the margin requirement. I mean, even if I do blow it, I've taken 8,000 in profit out of it. This was from a 2K start, so I'm not really too upset. I think that's the beauty of it too, is that I'm compounding this so much to the point that it's exponentially growing because I can size up in the trades that I'm taking, which is why a personal account's a little bit better at the moment. But I wouldn't be trading the way I am on these accounts had I not had the start on prop firms, is what I'm getting at. Prop firms aren't the end goal. The end goal is to have your own funded futures account. Should have let that trade run. Trump tweet. That is within his bathroom break window. Let's see. I'll show you guys exactly what I do to go get the Trump tweets. I go to X, go on to X to see what's happening. Top right, Walter Bloomberg. Nothing on Walter Bloomberg. So the next thing I look at is Trump. Go to latest, and does not look like we have anything. So 12 seconds ago, President Trump traveled to Dover Air Force Base on Wednesday morning to attend the dignified transfer of 4 U.S. service members. Doesn't look like anything else. Smart people don't like me, 29 seconds ago. When he does tweet something, all the tweets look like this right here, where it's a screenshot of his Truth Social. The broker I'm using is Webull Future. Webull. I have my Roth IRA on Webull. I traded 5 micros with the 2K. So I'll pull this up again. Let me find where I put it. Send it to teammate, I think. Yes, I did. So this is the screenshot for the requirement of margin on the accounts. There we go. I only trade micro futures on there, by the way. The max position sizing is 100. I haven't made my way up to that quite yet. Also, look at the perfect retracement to 50%. Now it's almost back at TP on the IV. That's cool. This is, get rid of these previous days highs. This is the margin requirement on Webull. It's one of the lower ones that I've seen. I know, like, Top Step Broker, I think it's 300 per micro. They have it rounded off at a nice round. It's like 150 to 300. So it's 213 on Webull for a MNQ contract. And this also fluctuates by a couple of dollars with what MNQ is trading at. 213, 137, 335. So this is gold, 335, the largest one. The main downside is you can't trade overnight with them unless you have a lot in the account. So 4,000 to have a MNQ contract run overnight.
Wow, Zinc, we're doing a whole lot of nothing. NQ is the only one that's actually moving a little bit lower.
What do you mean? Look at the trade I just hit while you were gone.
Oh, nice. There we go. Sorry. Jeez. Oh, there we go. You like me.
I went in with 80 micros.
You like me yesterday. 80
Just
micros.
kidding. I left it. This was the other position open. It just happened to tick to the 50. Funny enough. I traded 5 micros on the... That was half of what I had in the drawdown. But the 5 micros, I was only risking 200 on it, which is 20 points. But once you get a really, if you increase what your margin on the account is at all,
We're dropping now, Zinc. 640.
Significantly increases what you can make. for the compounding. Yeah, this is pretty nasty. I'm looking on X. I don't see anything from Trump.
Dude, how's that bounce though? Yo, there, what you talking about? Like the 100-point bounce?
Yeah, I looked. I didn't see a tweet from Trump. I'm trying, but I don't see anything on any of the news sites I usually use.
Sure.
Nothing from Trump. Nothing from Trump. Still nothing from Trump.
Dude, no, Tesla's down 13% now.
Sickening. It was a higher time frame, 0.786 fib. Awesome, Neurel. You got 2R on crude. Very nice. I've been enjoying crude. I know I said I wouldn't trade it again, but it's been kind of fun. That just retraced right to the 50% too. I don't know. I didn't mean to close that window. This is the same exact move that we're making on MNQ. And if crude doesn't show what MNQ is going to do before MNQ does it, it's the other way around. Like you can see MNQ push down a lot faster, and that should make you go over to MCL and anticipate upside because these two are perfectly hedged. The reason they are hedged is because this crude is the expenses to what pretty much everything in the NASDAQ is made up of. So if the NASDAQ goes down, which is all based on like Apple, Tesla, NVDA, AMD, those companies use oil to turn a profit. If crude goes up, their profit goes down, therefore their stocks go down, and therefore QQQ goes down. And back and forth.
Yeah,
that's what
choppy.
I would use instead of the VIX. James had a nice win. I had a decent win on crude. Both of us should have held our trades today, in hindsight, if we were the best traders.
Yeah. You know, no one loses in hindsight, Zinc. You know that.
Have you met Ted?
Have I?
No, that was a joke from How I Met Your Mother. Saying someone that would still lose in hindsight trading. MES missed the low. That is correct. MES did miss the low. This is also another reason to validate why we do not take the position on another asset when one of the other, so QQQ or SPY, one of the other assets, we don't take the position when one of these is broken and the other one has not. SPY is still favored to go to the low, but because QQQ took it, that's a significant draw that's no longer in the picture. And that would be a huge FU bounce all the way back up to the 50 if you were in that position. You were 1 point off of hitting TP. Maybe 1.5 points if that. And then it just whipped you out of the position, unfortunately. But we'll close that now because I don't need to place any more trades today. Or walk away.
Yeah, I'll be done for today.
There was one other guy that I saw going a pretty crazy run with his personal futures. He put 5K in and he turned it into 100K in like 2 weeks.
Who rips?
But I don't think it was rips. It was a guy with dreadlocks. He was a crane operator, something for a full-time job, and then he quit after he made that run.
Jeez, that's crazy. 5K to 100K.
But it's because you can compound so well.
Sure.
Predator has dreadlocks, not Predator. I don't remember his name. He traded on Topstep 150K accounts, and then he put the profit from those 150K accounts into a personal. To double your money on a personal account, this isn't something that I would do, but I figured it out from doing it on Friday the 10th. That was not my intention, but you only need whatever your max account size is for positioning. You only need 100 points to double the account. 100-point trade on M&Q with X amount of micros doubles whatever your account size is. There's 92 on crude. I actually bottom took that. I got in right when you did, James.
Yeah. No, I think this is very choppy. The only thing that's actually moving lower now is NQ. Everything else is actually pretty ugly. Okay, ES is moving lower as well, but it hasn't broken the opening range low, and it's been over an hour. That's pretty crazy.
That was my trade.
Yeah, that's sick.
I ended up getting out right at 91.39. Still a 1.3 R at least, but god damn. Missed out on another $3,000. I trade with Weeble on the personal accounts. And don't worry, guys, there's no affiliation there. It's not me trying to sell you a CFD firm. Like what's the guy that has a 500 profit factor?
Yeah, I don't know. Some skunk.
Made 25 million on gold.
Yeah.
SPY's about to go and take its IB low right now. This would have been from the 25%. If it loads for me, there's the IB low taken on MES. So about a 10-point trade, 11-point trade. Not bad. This month so far, first month with IB and edgeful, I got 4 wins, 1 break even. Few months of this, and I'm definitely going to open a live account. How do you feel about connecting it to my trade copier? Do not do that. Don't do that. No, not Lance Bernstein. The one that Lance always gives crap to. I think his name's Sai. Trader Sai. 92.22. You gotta be kidding me. Oh no. Trader Sai. He's the one that I'm not gonna say he fakes profits or not, but he drives people to a CFD firm that gives him like 50% commission on sign-ups.
Finally, NQ broke 600, bro.
Yep, it's still going. That was a very nice read from the both of us today, James.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't execute maybe as I would like, but I'll still take it. Especially because
I don't blame you. I mean, prior to this drop, you were in it watching this move, which was especially coming into Trump's bathroom break as well. Yeah, third-party trade copiers are a little sketchy. It's highly discouraged, I think, even from the trade copiers themselves to connect it to your personal account. Connecting it to prop firms is fine because the only information they get is your prop account. But if their data gets taken and then someone gets access to your personal broker account as opposed to just getting access to a prop firm, then you're in a little bit of trouble. What we can look at now is the continuation stat. So IB by levels for a Thursday on Qs. Go into 6 months, IB by levels for a breakdown day on a Thursday. We have an 85% stat to go to 0.2, 70% to go 0.4, and then probably not going any lower than that. So after we hit 0.4, we might have a small continuation through it. to 0.6, but that's only 50% of the time that we go to that level. So you flip a coin if you want to go any lower. If we refine it down to Thursdays, that was on all weekdays. My apologies. If we refine it down just to Thursdays, for breakdown days, it's still 50%. So 5 out of the 10 days that we've had broken to the downside, it has continued to 0.6, which isn't very significant. I believe this is one for you, James. That Nikkei swing short is printing silly. Do you have a swing short on Nikkei?
Oh, Nikkei. Yeah,
Nikkei, my bad.
Nikkei. Yeah. Not mine. I wasn't short Nikkei. Someone else was in the chat that was doing pre-market. That's the Japanese stock market index. You can also trade it as a futures contract. Zinc.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm just chilling right now. This is NQ was the one today for sure.
I just got a little excited. I got 14 picks on my trail cam. Oh, that's such a good picture. Almost at 0.4. That's our most significant draw for today. 0.2 on SPY as well. IB by levels drawing down to 0.2. Q's is almost there. Biggest takeaway is not the short crude at the moment. We do have, well, not we, but I have a little surprise for you guys today. So for 30 minutes, you guys get an additional 30 minutes live from me. You can stay on if you want, James. If not, that is perfectly okay.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get off, but I'm gonna definitely rewatch that because I want to see what you guys go on and talk about.
So we're not going to be trading, but we're going to be looking at the most popular reports. We don't have a hoodie. There's no hoodie now. We're going to look at the most popular reports for the past week on Edgeful. We're going to do that live right now. Starting it off with the ICT opening retracement. And then we're going to work our way down through the other popular reports for the week. So you guys can go in, find which reports are doing the best right now. This is an in-depth look at the what's in play, but we're going to make sure that we actually look at the quantity of occurrences and not have a what's in play hit that's 83%, but only have 6 data points. So you guys are going to get your class. How do you measure most popular? Highest stats. Most popular on X, and that's from research on my own side, looking at how many reviews or interactions the post have, how often I get dinged within the Discord for a set of reports, and then also looking at just the what's in play with quantity of occurrences as well.
Yeah, Zinc, I think it's still a good session though. So
yeah, great session. I'm tempted to take another short on NQ. I'm itching.
Nah, I'm done. I'm off the desk tomorrow, so you won't see me on tomorrow. It will just be Dan and Andre. Maybe just Dan, I'm not too sure, but we'll see you guys, or I'll see you guys on next week. I've got a I don't know what you call it in America, but
make sure you
bachelor's weekend.
Farewell to James. You did very well today again. Make sure tomorrow you send me your P&L pre-market.
Yeah. I'll send a pre-market.
Even if you want to just make one up and send it to me so I can have a green day.
I'll send it if I haven't taken a trade as well.
Yeah.
No, nice, bro. I'll see you guys all live tomorrow or Monday, sorry, and then the guys will be live tomorrow as well for the open. But yeah, Zinc, take it easy. Well, good trading as well, Zinc. To bottom tick that oil trade, and then that QQQ trade as well. So we'll see you guys on Monday. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Cheers, guys.
See ya. All right, so you guys are stuck with me now. The first report we're going to be taking a look at. Actually, hold on a second here. You guys are going to look at my screen. I have something else. We gotta get the edgeful blue on for the stream. Edgeful blue. My voice is cracking so bad today. I apologize. All right, so we're gonna go into our first report. We're gonna go into replay mode for this. You guys already got a little exposure to it at the beginning of the stream, but this is by far the most popular report for the week, and that is going to be the ICT opening retracement. So this is on futures assets only. If you want to find this report, it cannot be on QQQ, it cannot be on SPY. It has to be on MNQ, MGC, MES, MYM, ES, NQ, so on. Only futures instruments. To get this report, you go into the bottom left for session, click create custom session, scroll all the way down, click the plus sign at the bottom. When you click the plus sign, you can name it whatever you want. I have it named retracement. The start time is set to 9:30. The end time is set to 11. For this session, click save, and then go into customize for the ICT opening retracement. Everything for the sub report is standard. Customize report, set the candle value to open. So candle value set at open, high, low, close. Set it to open, and then set the candle to compare to 8:30. So I'll leave this up for a minute so you guys can get everything all set up. If everyone wants to just drop a thumbs up in chat if they're following along, that would be great. It'd be much appreciated. All set. All right, then click save on that. And what this will bring up is the ICT opening retracement report. 80% of the time on MNQ, when the session opens above the 8:30 open, we have an 80% stat that 47 out of those 59 occurrences will go and retrace to that level. And that's exactly what we saw today. We opened below. So our 9:30 open was at 693. We opened below the 8:30 open, which you can mark with a horizontal ray. I don't believe we have an indicator for this yet. Let's see, ICT invite only, ICT kill zones, pivots. I do not see it on the scripts here. Nothing for, oh, ICT opening retracement. There we go. So there is, and we can set it to style, visibility, line solid. We'll put it to a dotted line, and we'll set it to 8:30 to 11. Let's see if that does what I'm anticipating. Perfect. So you set it to 8:30 to 11, and that will give you your retracement. Or you could also just set it to 8:30 to 8:31. That will give you the open for that 8:30 candle. We have a 80% stat to retrace to that level, really opening above or below it. Disregarding the open above or below, we have an 80% stat to go to that level. The same can be done on SPY. SPY has that same 8:30 open. See it with the dotted line there. I'll make it a little bit clearer. Dotted line, solid. Let's see if that makes it any better. Slightly better. That is one of the best targets to have into the New York Open right now. So the 830 level, and you guys can toy with this report as well if you wanted to. You can go over into edgeful, customize. You can change the candle to compare to any time frame you want to. So if I wanted to see what the opening candle retracement looks like for the 4 a.m. candle, you can see the stats are significantly lower, but your reward on that trade would be significantly higher. That would be our 4 a.m. open from the extended session of New York, which is 744.99 for today. The closer you get to New York Open, the higher the stats are going to be. So if you wanted to see what the stats for the 915 retracement, what the 915 open is, 92% of the time we hit the level that we open at 915. So if I go back over to the chart and I mark out the 930 open with a horizontal ray, so there's our 930 open right there. If I mark out, oops, sorry, the 930 open was a little bit higher. If I mark out the 930 open and then also mark out the 915 open right there, 92% of the time we retrace up to that level. This is only 50 cents higher, so that's 20 points on M&Q. That could be something that you use alongside the gap fill by spike report, which for the gap fill by spike report, we're going to cover this as well. This is one that Andre looked at earlier this week. This is something that has been growing popularity as well for people that like to play the gap fills. I'm driving, so I can't look, but is there a spike stat on this, like the gap fill? You would have to use it alongside the gap fill by spike, unfortunately. So there's no stat for the ICT opening retracement. That's a spike. All right, so going back to that opening retracement, you can also, again, you can manipulate it to whatever time you want. The 830 is the one that was popularized by Andrew Trades NQ. Also, we're having a pretty nice continuation down. I know we're not supposed to be trading right now, but pretty nice continuation down to that 0.2 on SPY. Looks like we're going to hit 0.4, and then also going down to, leave that replay mode. We're going down to 0.6 right now on Qs. Pretty gnarly continuation to the downside. So IB by levels, initial bounce, we're almost at 0.6. Which brings us into our next report, which is going to be IB by levels, funny enough. IB by levels for just our standard New York time frame. When you have a breakout or breakdown day, the percent that you go in a continuation is the standard deviation. So one full standard deviation is the range of the IB. We do have an indicator for this. It's IB by levels. It automatically plots your standard deviations, or better yet, you can go into the initial balance breakout, and this also plots the IB by levels. If you want to customize these at the bottom of the input for the initial balance breakout, that works great. What this says is when you have a breakdown or breakout, your continuation stats are 90% for a breakout day on a Thursday that we go and proceed to 0.2 and 0.4 standard deviation. Now, a little tidbit of information for anyone that looks at the percentage of these trades. 90% is a perfectly okay measure because that means there's typically at least 10 data points. So if I scroll down, you can see that there is 10. That was prior to even looking at the table. I did not front run that, I swear. That was unscripted. If you see a data set that has 50%, 20%, or 33%, so variables of that, 80%, 60%, 40%, 20%, or if it says 50-50, or if it's a variable of 1/3, 33%, 66%, 100%. Those data sets typically mean that there are a very small quantity of data points that have hit those levels. So if we scroll down to our what's in play, and we look at something, I'm going to look for something that says 66% or 67% because it's rounded up. We click on this, we can see that there's only 3 data sets. 2 of those hit, one of them didn't. That's why it says 67% and 33%. I'm assuming it's probably the same for outside days by weekday. This is 6. 2 of them hit, 4 of them did not. So this is a variable of 3. This is a little bit more significant because it has 6 data sets. But when we're looking at these reports, if you're looking at the most popular reports, make sure that you, especially for something that says 100%, always view the table for that. Because more often than not, it has 1, 2, or 3 data sets. Sometimes 4, but most of the time it's 3 or less, and that will give you the reason why it says 100%. Now, going back to the reports for IB by levels, this is only after the IB breaks out. This is not something that you use beforehand. This is not something that you can use afterwards. Not something that you can use as a front run. This is only for after the IB breaks. You can use this alongside the IB by retracement. I typically don't. I know a lot of people look for it to retrace back into the IB, but this is showing the stats for having a continuation to the downside. So for a Thursday on ES, this is saying that we have a 100% stat that we go to 0.2. We scroll down to the data table. That's 8 outcomes, which isn't too bad. 8 out of 8 have hit that 0.2. That's more than enough data points. That's a lot better than just having 1, 2, or 3. 7 have hit 0.4, 6 have hit 0.6, 5 have hit 0.8, so on and so forth. And then you can see it significantly tapers off the lower you go. Double break days are a completely different measure. This one, very difficult to read because it says your chance of having a double break on the IB, which is only 17% of the time. This only has 6 occurrences, and it's saying that when you do double break, when you have a breakdown and breakout, it hits these sets of data points on both sides. So it's a very difficult read there. This is something that you would only want to use for the breakdown or breakout days. You can also narrow that down to the first break of the IB, correct? Yes, I'm looking at the breakout or breakdown. Hopefully everyone's got that one. If you want to, when you're looking at these reports, this is underneath the standard IB report. The sub-report is by levels. You can click bookmark up here in the top of your screen, the middle of your screen. That will bookmark the entire segment or the entire data set. And then that will correlate over to what you're looking at in terms of, is this going to break out, break down? I can find it very quickly on the bookmarks on the side. Next report we're going to take a look at, which I briefly covered there for a minute, gap fill by spike. This is used alongside the gap fill by size. There is a way that you can go and measure this, which I'm going to show you now. So going over to QQQ, and we go to, and this works for any gap, by the way. This is not, it doesn't have to be a significant chance that we have a gap fill. This works for any gap. If we have a gap down, our typical gap up percentage is 0.16. If we have a gap up, our typical gap fill percentage is also 0.16. The reason this is only filtered for gap up is because we have a gap down today, so it's including that gap to the upside, or the gap that we need to go and fill to the upside. Also, look at this continuation down, just slashed right through 0.6. All right, going back over to Qs now. So here's our open for today. I'll mark out our open with a vertical line. 9:30 open. There's our 9:30 open. So what this is showing, what this report is showing is that on average, when we have a gap up or down, our average spike into open is 0.16% in the opposing direction. When we have a gap into open, our max spike, or the average move that we make in the opposing direction to that gap, is 0.16%. Going back over to Qs, we can see what our open is. 1 minute time frame. You go into, I have it favorited, but if you want to find this, you go into the forecasting, go down to price range. You You can click a star on this on TradingView, and that will get it into your hotbar down here. Your average move and the opposition to whatever your gap is 0.16%. So today we made a move down 0.22. It was a gap down. So we're anticipating it to go at least 0.16% in the opposing direction and then continue to the upside. Sometimes you have days like yesterday where there is no wick in the opposing direction. So here's our open from yesterday's market session. We did not have any wick to the downside. So the only way to read that is that it was a 0.00% gap filled by spike. That works its way into the average. And you can go down to the table here, and you can see all the times that on ES we had a gap up or down and what the spike percentage was. 0.23%, 0.18, 0.12, 0.16, 0.11, 0.51, 0.35, 0.9, 0.28, 0.06. The average is 0.16. Your best way to go about playing that is up to your discretion. What I would do personally is I would go over to the chart. For today's chart, for example, we have a gap down. This is a confluence. This is an added confluence to what we're doing in terms of the opening range breakout. If we're looking for a 5-minute double break, if we're looking for that ICT opening retracement. If I had a bullish bias into open today for whatever reason, I would look for price to come down on average on QQQ. 0.22% is the gap filled by spike. That's our average percentage, which, funny enough, that is the exact percentage we made today. What I would do personally is I would look to enter a long position. So if I can find my long position here, I would look to open a long position at 0.2%, which is the average gap spike. Today is a pretty poor example of it because you could use it alongside the gap fill. I would look for whatever significant level I would have to the upside. So if for today's example, we had that opening retracement for the 8:30 candle. So go into horizontal ray, that's our 8:30 open. If I had a TP up there, I would look for the gap fill. This is another reason that you don't really want to trade into the 9:30 open without this information. I would look for it to spike down, which on average it does every single day that we have a gap, which we almost have a gap. We have a gap basically every single trading day. Maybe one day out of 6 months we'll have a gap that is 0.00%, but for the most part, we have a gap of some percentage into open every day, and this is showing what the opposition move is to that gap. 0.26 for a gap down, 0.22 for a gap up. So on average, that's our move in opposition to whatever the gap is, and then you have a TP set to the upside. Again, for today's example, 0.22% to the downside. I believe I read that actually incorrectly. It should have gone down 0.26. So look for it to come down. You can enter your long position and then have your TP set for whatever high confluence price target, TP, stop loss. If you want to do 1-to-1, 1-to-2. For today's example, if you want to do 1-to-1, probably wouldn't have worked because you would have had your stop way down here. For a 500-point stop doesn't really make sense. Now, going back over to this data set, if you're looking at the largest gap fill, so this is saying that our largest gap down with the spike into open while also having the gap filled has been 1.23%. Meaning that for QQQ, I need to stop going to that tab. I'll pull up SPY instead. For QQQ, that means that we would have had a move down all the way to 686 and some change, 686.04. That's the largest gap down spike that we've had that also came up and reversed and then went higher on that data set. That is something to watch out for if you're using this report, because that means there are some occurrences, and you can go, the best way to find this is go down to the data table and just scroll through that, and you can see which days had the larger gap spikes and which days did have the kind of average ones or the normal gap spike. So one day over the past 6 months, which was April 7th, and we can go to that date. We can see if anything else significant happened during that time frame. So we can jump to April 7th. It was a Monday, so that means there was probably news over the weekend. We had our open. Sorry, that's the 4 a.m. candle. Why did it set me all the way back here? Here's our New York open. We had a pivot down of 1.2%. So we opened at 7. What was our extended session open? 722, went all the way down to 718. And then we had a spike all the way back up. Actually, this isn't the 7th. This is the 6th. What am I looking at? There we go. This one makes more sense. There's your largest spike down. So this one spiked down 1.2% and came all the way back up and made an attempt at filling the gap. This one would have simply been a loss on the strategy because it was a gap down. We pushed down 1.2% and then it came all the way back up. Those are your outliers compared to what the average of that gap fill spike is. The ones that are a little bit better are the gap up. So you can see the spike isn't nearly as much, 0.75%, before it made an attempt to go back to the gap fill by size. So this is a pretty sound report to use. I'm a fan of it. It's definitely growing in popularity, especially since Andre's been talking about it so much on stream. That combined with the, again, going into futures assets and looking at that opening candle retracement, the ICT opening retracement, this is probably one of the most significant ones at the moment. 84% for MNQ, 83%. If you're looking at it for the whole entire New York session, that's because it has until 4 a.m. But make sure you're looking at it from that 9:30 to 11 o'clock window. If you want to revise it down even more, you can make it 10 o'clock, 10:30 if you want it to be done prior to the IB. But this is the report as it stands from Andrew Trades NQ that is growing in popularity. The last one that we're going to take a look at, and this one has been popular for a long time, but it is the stats on this cannot be argued with. Inside bars on QQQ, MNQ, any individual asset for that matter, inside bars have been the highest trending data set on edgeful. If you go on to X and you look up inside bars, edgeful has all the top data sets based on tweets, posts. The inside bar has 68 total days. The only other option you have is inside bars or outside days. You're either opening inside a previous day's range or outside a previous day's range. This is the probably strongest added confluence you can get for the market right now. 60 of 68 occurrences. So if you take this trade 1 out of 10 times, it's going to win 9 times, a little bit over 9 times, 9.5. 88% of the time, this trade, well, I was way off there. 8.8 times. Sorry, I saw the 80. I don't know. I didn't just read that. 88% of the time when you open within previous day's range, which we did surprisingly have that happen yesterday, and we did not go and break previous day's high or low. When you open within previous day's range, so like we did on Monday this week, we opened within Friday's high. Sorry, excuse me, Tuesday into Monday. We opened within that range on Tuesday, the range that Monday made, high to low, and this is only during New York. You do not use the extended session. You can go into the sub report and look at the extended session like James does. I'm just going to use this for New York. Set the time frame to New York. You can set it to Asia if you wanted to. You can set it to really any time frame on here. 88% of the time we open within that range, we're going to break out of that range. The best way to go about using this report is added confluence. For instance, if we have the IB set bullish like we did on Thursday, July 9th, we opened within previous day's range on that Friday, July 10th. Our high from Thursday was 724.28. The IB was set bullish. It doesn't dictate which way you're going to go. So you need added confluence in which way you're going to target to the upside and or downside. If you are looking for a continuation to the upside on the IB, You can also set your target, and this lines up with 3 other confluences. You have the IB set bullish, you have the IB by levels, and then you have the opening candle continuation and or the inside bars that you can use. For QQQ, July 9th into July 10th, we had the high set first, low set second. We did end up going and breaking the low because of something Trump said. However, with the reversal back up into the range, because Trump continued to speak, if you were bullish, you can continue to target that previous day's high, and that should hit 90% of the time. Now, the best part about this report is that it also adds in a draw when the IB is broken or the inside bar is broken. What I mean by that is that you can go into the sub report and go to buy breakout on the inside bar. This shows you how often it hits both previous day's high and low, which is only 8% of the time. So of those 68 occurrences, only 6 times did price touch both high and low. So once you do break the inside bar high, the likelihood that you go and hit the opposing direction, previous day's low, is only 8% of the time. I was holding long for yesterday's previous day's high. Yeah, yesterday was a little unfortunate. I was holding long for previous day's high as well, and then luckily I got out maybe in time. I should have switched short. Coming to think about it now, Google had its earnings. The fact that we didn't have enough strength to go and take previous day's high should have shown. But yesterday also, we opened 40 cents over previous day's low, which we should have gone and taken to the downside. But that is the additional segment. We're going to try to do this once a week. We're going to go and review the most popular reports based on what's in play, based on, we can also look at edgeful AI. We can look at what's trending on Twitter. We'll cover those reports in the live, and then you guys can go out throughout the week if you would like as well in the chat during our regular streams, Monday through Friday. You can come into chat. You can DM me, you can DM Andre, James. Say what is working for you for a report, and then we'll feature that on this segment for the week. But that will do it for today. You felt way behind, Trader. It is recorded. It was recorded. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you. I'll see you on Tuesday next week. Andre and James will be live tomorrow. Sorry, not Andre and James. Andre and Dan will be live tomorrow. I will see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day.